viewers, in this video I would like to discuss about what is authentication and the factor of authentication. So authentic means something original. So being able to clearly recognize yourself as a person who is able to access is called authentic person. And you can verify an authenticity by authentication. And we know that authentication means unambiguous identification of a sender of information or a communication pair, where digital certificate is used to verify the signature. Now, what are the possible factor of authentication? There are three factors for authentication. The first one is what you know, that is password, and it is a shared secret between the person and the system. Second one is what you have is token and smart card, that is need to authenticate yourself. And the third one is what you are, because what you are, and that is the biometry and physical property of a human being. There are two-factor authentication. The example is a smart card and PIN. Both works together. This is out of three factor. We call two-factor authentication. If attacker get one factor, then still he has to protect by another factor. Now, question is what is token? Some device with six digits, and this six digit is changes in every minute. It has a physical connection to the computer. Question is what is password? A password is a shared secret between the person who wants to authenticate it and the system against which the person is to be authenticated possesses. What are the disadvantages of password? The question. Then we can see that password is static, and the change when user is forced to change. You should not share your password. If something bad is happened, it will be very difficult for a person that it is done, not by you. Now, if password is stolen, you will not know until something bad is happened. So you have to be careful about your password. And how can we secure the password? That is the question. By three ways we can give security of our password, and that are: the first one is size of password domain and choice of password policies. The second one is security of storing password, and third one is security when enter or transmit the password. So let's see the detail of these 3 points. The first one is size of password domain and choice of password. It means that when you are giving the password entering, then you will give the password long as possible. Password, otherwise the brute force attack can be possible. Password should contain uppercase, lowercase, numbers, and combination of special characters. We should never give some password that contains with the natural words and so on. Otherwise, brute force attack can be possible. We will not use the same password in everywhere. These are the policies of password. We use the cryptographic hash value to store password on maximum operating system to store their password. This is the secret process. Question is security of what we are meaning of security of storing password. You can use tool for storing the password like password gorilla, password safe. In that case, we can use it when you have a lot of passwords and you feel to store the password and you are not able to remember the old password. Then you can use such kind of softwares. Second point is if the password stored on the server side, when you buy stuff, then it could be stolen when attacker is attack on the server side. So never store the passwords on server side and so on. There is a question: how can security when entering or transmitting the password? We have to careful when transmit the password via network, because a person can be sit in the middle and they can attack. They can get the information about the password. So in that case, the cryptographic hash function can be use to give a protection. There is another important factor is like need to be careful when entering the password into your system or some devices, so that when you are entering password, somebody does not overlook while you are entering the password. Now the question is, uh, what is called a cryptographic hash function used for password. Most of the system is used to store cryptographic hash function for authenticating user. How the process is happening? A cryptographic hash function is calculated a cryptographic hash value, and this cryptographic hash function converts an arbitrary input string to a characteristic sequence of bits. The hash value is characteristic as fingerprint of a human being, and it is as fixed length. Now, instead of storing the full password, the device store only the a cryptographic hash value of the password. When a user enter the password, the system computes the hash value of it and compare its own hash value. Then, if they are same, the system understand that this is the authenticate person. Now, still the brute force attack can be possible for the password hacking. In that case, we can use salt, which is increase the time of brute force attack take. Now the question is, how can you prevent brute force attack on bank password or something else is not something else is on online? Small passwords are not allowed for brute force attack in online. In that case, we can limit the password with the tries, and no more offline tries can be allowed. In that case, we can check and verify. But still, there is a drawback that if they can guess the right solution in first attempt or second attempt, still the brute force attack can be possible. Now there is a question: what are the size of password equivalents to 128-bit from A to Z symbols? First of all, we need to know that length of password is n. Then how many characteristics we can allow is number of character for queue, and number of possible password will be q to the power n, and the equivalent bit sequence will be log 2 and q to the power n. That is, uh, we know that in previous lecture I already told like some example where the 16-bit sequence were able to break by brute force attack in zero point 0.0 second. So here we are taking care of 128-bit sequence of 26 character. Now we need to know that what will be the password length. In that case, by using the calculation, you can see that 128 bit is equals to log 2 or to log base 2 of 16 to the power n, and then by the calculation we can see here that it is 27.23. Now it is a fractional number, so we can check what is the correct length. Is it right for 27 or 28? So if it is 27, then 128-bit is greater than the calculation. By calculating, we can see that 27, for the length of 27 we can get a bit sequence of 126.911, and if we calculate it with the 128 bit, then we will get a bit sequence of 131.61, that is possibly greater than 128 bits. So we can say that finally the length of the password is for n is equals to 27. So thank you for the video. I think I left something. Yeah.